Hey, this is Tony here with TripDelivers. If you're watching this video, you're probably a restaurant manager or maybe a restaurant owner who's interested in learning more about what TripDelivers does and why they're different than so many of the other third-party delivery companies that are out there in the marketplace. TripDelivers has a really simple mission: create happy restaurants, happy drivers, and happy customers. And I think most of us as restaurant owners have kind of dealt with some of the bigger players in the industry, the Grubhubs and DoorDashes and Uber Eats of the world. And then you've got your kind of mid-range delivery.coms, Waiters, Eat Streets. I own several restaurants throughout the middle of the United States and had dealt with these guys for quite a long time. I guess it was kind of extra revenue. And then as the pandemic hit, I started to really delve into not only the revenue that they were bringing in, but the profit margin. And it wasn't as good as I really wanted it to be. And the problem with all these companies, from the $100 million a year companies to the $1 billion a year companies, and even some of the smaller local players our restaurant worked with, they all do the exact same things. That's where Trip was different. These guys hit the restaurants really hard when it comes to commissions. Their customer service isn't that great when it comes to solving issues or helping out customers with problems. And they've got a lot of unhappy drivers as well. And so what I loved about Trip is they were different. If you look at the restaurant charge, with all the major providers from Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, if you're doing 20 orders a day and you average around a little under $40 per order, you'll pay close to $100,000 a year in fees if you're around 35% commission with some of these providers. Even at 30%, you're still paying a pretty big chunk of change. With Trip, it's completely different. Trip Delivers doing 20 orders a day, you'd get charged a flat rate. Instead of a 30 or 35% commission, you get charged as low as $2 per order. So instead of $99,000 in fees, it's $14,600 in fees, saving just under $85,000 a year. That was something that caught my attention because it wasn't only the revenue increase that I was interested in with third-party delivery, it was the profit increase that was more important for me. And when you look at Trip Delivers, there's no restaurant commission fees. They're not hitting us for 20, 30, or 40% in some cases. It's a flat rate, $2 for members, $3 for non-members. I started out as a non-member, it was free, but I quickly paid, there's a $99 annual fee, and becoming a member lowered my per order rate from $3 down to $2 per order. So it just made sense. The other thing I loved about Trip Delivers is restaurants get paid instantly. They set up a merchant account. Basically, when someone goes to their website and places the order, the merchant account funds my bank, just like if that customer would have walked into my restaurant and handed me their credit card and I swiped it directly on my credit card processing machine. So I love the fact that we were paid just the same. That funded our bank account the very next day. Their drivers are paid instantly as well. Their customers don't have any hidden service fees or add-ons at checkout to surprise them. So it was really a different concept. But the main thing that caught my attention was the amount of savings and the increase in profit margin by using Trip Delivers versus all these other third-party delivery companies. It was a pretty simple concept. Obviously, third-party delivery is what it is. The customers order online, the payment gets processed, the order gets confirmed. We prepared the food as the restaurant owner, the driver picks it up, and then we get the money the next day. The problem I had with all these big companies is it really worth 30% or 35% for them to come pick up the food and take it to my customers? And after learning about Trip Delivers, I realized it's not worth 30%. If I could pay a flat rate as low as $2, why not? And that's why I partnered with Trip Delivers. No restaurant commission fees, no hidden fees or costs for my customers, no annual contract. They didn't require exclusivity. So I still have, the Uber Eats, the DoorDashes of the world. What I do is every DoorDash order, every Uber Eats order, I put in a free promo code for a Trip Delivers order, and I try and convert them. And it's great. I've got some friends that I started to share this concept with. There's a friend of mine who has 25 locations doing $30,000 a week in delivery just through Uber Eats right now. And he's sending Uber $30,000 a week, basically, in delivery commissions. He's starting to convert those customers to TripDelivers customers. 100,000 a week in deliveries instead of paying 30,000 with Trip, he's paying closer to 5,000. So he'll save $1.3 million a year. Now, our restaurants might not save that much. We might not be doing that big of revenue numbers on delivery, but the percentages are what the percentages are. And so I looked at it and said, you know what? If I'm sending them $1,000 a week and with Trip, I only have to send them $100 a week, well, that extra $900 goes into my pocket. So it just made sense. To become a member, it's a $100 annual membership fee, $2 a delivery instead of $3 a delivery. The restaurants obviously are paid instantly. They have a $150 activation fee, which includes your tablet if needed. If we have point of sale integration that's available for you, if you already have a tablet, whoever shared this video with you, that agent can kind of help you get started if you already have the tablet or already have potential point of sale integration available. The bottom line, what I loved about Trip is the margins. It's not just the revenue increase, it was the profit margin increase. Because I knew with in-house diners, margins, for simple math, let's call it 10%. Mine were a little thinner than that in our restaurant for in-house diners. I guess with the pandemic, we don't get many of those these days. But, the food costs, call it 30% overhead, the rent, the electric bill, the mops, the aprons, the towels, call that overall 30%. And then labor costs, the cooks and the hostess and all that, call that around 30%. And that left about 10% for the profit margin. With delivery, the margin is really strong, especially by partnering with TripDelivers. The food cost stayed the same no matter what, 30%, but the overhead doesn't go up because Trip was bringing me customers. The overhead, my electric bill was going to be the same whether we were making 10 fettuccine Alfredos or 100 fettuccine Alfredos. It really didn't matter. So the TripDelivers cost was only $2 per order that went out. The labor cost, that remained the same. My cooks, whether they were cooking, 10 large pizzas or 100 large pizzas, they're going to get paid their hourly wage. It didn't matter. The profit margin for Trip on the average order of $35 was 64%. So I looked at this just like when my friend first heard about it, who has 25 locations doing $100,000 in deliveries through Uber Eats on a weekly basis. Why send those companies hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or maybe for some of you guys that are high volume, send these companies millions of dollars every single year because they're grabbing food from your restaurant and taking it to your customer? I think the reason we've all done it for so long, especially after the pandemic, is because we didn't realize there was another way to do it until now. That's where TripDelivers is literally disrupting the industry. And if you're delivering through any third-party provider, you need to take a real hard look at partnering with TripDelivers and becoming a restaurant within the TripDelivers family. Because you can start converting those DoorDash, those Uber, those Grubhub customers, and instead of sending out thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars a year to these third-party companies, you can put all that money back in your operating account or your profit account, and that's where that money belongs. So get with the agent that shared this video with you. Let them know if you have any other questions. And if you do decide to become a part of the TripDelivers family, I want to be one of the first to welcome you and to congratulate you on putting all that money back in your own bank account where it belongs.